Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Today is March 9th, 2026, a regular Board of Commissioners meeting. We'd like to welcome everyone. As always, we'll start out with a prayer and a pledge. Mr. David Walker leads the prayer, and Commissioner Ellis leads the pledge.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for another opportunity to be here tonight. Dear Lord, I just thank you for everybody gathered here. And I just pray, dear Lord, as we meet to do the business of the people, dear Lord, I just pray we do it in a way that bring honor and glory to your name, dear Lord, that we listen, dear Lord, and try to do our best, dear Lord, to be service of thee. Dear Lord, I just thank you for our nation. Dear Lord, I just pray for our military tonight that's in harm's way. I just pray you protect them, the men and women fighting overseas, dear Lord. And we just thank you, dear God, most of all, for your son, Jesus, who died on that cross for our sins and rose 3 days later. Dear Lord, we love you, dear Lord. Just guide us tonight. In your name we pray. Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the prayer minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion we approve the agenda for
So
tonight?
moved.
Second.
Go ahead.
Any additions or corrections for the agenda? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Moving on to appointments. The first appointment tonight under item A will be the Freedom Life Grant Partnership, and we've got Mr. Danny Hampton. There he is. Danny, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to meet with all of the commissioners. And what I'm coming tonight is to talk about a proposed partnership in the form of a grant that's put out by the Office of Juvenile Justice through the Department of Justice. It's a federal grant. It's a grant that is actually written by the governing body, and which would be McDowell County government. We're actually writing the grant in partnership with McDowell County government. It's a grant that, y'all know Freedom Life. We've been working with adults for a lot of years. We've seen God do a lot of incredible stuff in a lot of people's lives. Now we want to start working with their kids and start bringing family reunification together as a part of what we do. And that's what this grant would give us the opportunity to do. In partnership with the county, we would be partnering, we would be forming a family care council within McDowell County that would be made up of DSS, Child Services, school board people, school people from the school system, people that are in agencies that provide children. We'll be putting together through this an entire very sophisticated support system to begin working with children of incarcerated parents. Right now, McDowell County ranks third in the state, I believe, of the number of kids in the foster care system because of incarcerated parents. They work third in the state. And so we want to start chipping into that number. And you can't do it just by working with the parents. You need to also be providing a lot of help and support to the children. And we would be working with parents while they're incarcerated. This grant would outline all of this stuff, but that's what this grant basically funds, because we would be having to start a new division as a nonprofit, faith-based nonprofit organization. That would be a child services division where we would open up a new office in a new location, because obviously we work with the adults where we are, so we would be needing to work with the children somewhere else. This grant would give us the funding to open up a new office, to hire some new staff, and begin to pull this community council together and begin to build an entire children's development system, working with JCPC and the current children. There's a lot of good children's programs that's going on in McDowell County, and we would not be competing with those programs. We would actually be consolidating and looking for gaps and trying to provide additional services where there are gaps between programming, so that we could already take what is going, and especially surrounding children of incarcerated families, to be able to put a more robust system and service networking together that would be driven by a case management system where each child would have a case manager that would be working specifically with them to help track all the services that they're getting and help the family and the caregivers be able to help the children while we're also working with the adult families on the other side. And the goal would be when people are released from jail or prison, then we would continue to work with the parents in a case plan there, work with the children, and if possible, go for reunification. If they're with DSS, then we would help them work through their DSS case plan. We do that already. We work with children, with parents now who have children in DSS Child Services, and we actually attend their meetings with them. We make sure that the parents are doing what they need to be doing. And at times, we've had to recommend to DSS Child Services that they not go for unification, because we're always going to look out for the needs of the child first. But the goal would be reunification. If not, at least we're able to provide services to children and to adults, because we're also trying to once again continue to reduce recidivism within the community, as well as to improve quality of care, and now not just to the adults and to the parents, but also to the children. So that's what this grant in a nutshell gives us the ability to do. You would be the applicant and the physical agent of the grant, and you'd be providing oversight and performance reporting. We would be the subrecipient and direct service provider. And so we'd be a subrecipient of the grant that we would write in partnership with your office, with Ashley and his team. I can go ahead and tell you, we've pretty much already written the grant. So now we would just be pulling all of the community teams together, all the community resources, getting support letters, and with your approval tonight, we would be able to, the grant is due March 30th through grants.gov, and then on April 6th through Just Grants. So this is a proposal that I bring for your consideration.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept and go ahead and submit the grant application.
Second.
Motion second, discussion.
What is the time frame on the turnaround for the grant?
It would be, like I said, the Just Grants was the final submission on April the 6th. We would be informed the last day of September. The grants officials award date would be October 1st. And then it would run on an October, that's the federal calendar, so it would run on an October through September fiscal year. And it would be 3 years, but I'll go ahead and tell you the way we operate the spending in our grants. And I'm sure y'all know, with federal grants, you get awarded in October, but you'll see the money maybe by May or June, because of all of the hoops that you need to jump through once you get the grant award. So we always go for a no-cost extension. It's a 3-year grant with a 1-year no-cost extension that's able to be afforded. So we always turn it into 4 years, because the first 3 quarters of the first year, we don't even get to the funding to do anything anyway. So we spend the first part of the year doing planning and working with the federal process for planning and implementation guide formation and all that. So there's a lot of hoops that you have to walk through at the beginning of the grant.
Is this a grant that we would have to reapply for at the end of that 3 years?
It's not a reapplication grant. Our plan is that we're also working right now while we're doing this to become Medicaid billable. And so what we would be doing during the 3-4 years of the grant is working on sustainability funding streams, developing multiple funding streams, which is what we do anyway, to be able to then continue to fund the services that are launched and started. So the grant kind of works as a primer for 3 to 4 years to help the work go. Once you pull the data out and you get the data, then now that you have a data system, now you can go out and organize and apply for and gain additional funding streams to be able to support what you're trying to do, because you can prove it works. So.
Well, Danny, I'll just say on behalf of this board, we certainly appreciate all you've done and the lives that you have affected with your ministry that you're doing with the Freedom Life. And so we're honored to be able to endorse this and help you out in every way that we can. So we have a motion to say. Any other discussion on this?
I do want to say, Mr. Chairman, that I appreciate the fact that the partners you mentioned that JCPC, Guardian Linums, the DSS staff, I think they would welcome the coordination and the partnership with you. And so you've already got a successful program with the men and women coming out of jail. So we appreciate the mission that your agency is providing, the help, the service, the lives that, as the Chairman said, are being just changed in a good kind of way.
Yeah. Thank you. And to your point, we're not trying to compete with services that are here. We're trying to complement. And in some ways even help provide another layer of coordination, especially around the unique, because I don't have to tell you, the greatest risk of someone committing a crime are children who've grown up in families that have committed crimes. And so we want to reverse that. So God has really put it on our heart. He's really blessed us in helping people in life recovery. Now we want to be part of prevention. We want to stop people from falling in the water, not just pull them out. So that's what we're hoping to do through this grant, is be able to launch a new level and a new division to what we do. Because McDowell County is a good community, and there are a lot of people in this county that are doing a lot of good stuff. And I think Hurricane Helene proved just what kind of community we have. And so we're just trying to do what we can to help be part of the solution with a lot of other people who are also working very hard for the same thing.
Anybody else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Next on the agenda tonight, item B, will be the special award presentation, and we have Mr. Will Kehler here, Emergency Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Mr. Wooten, Madam Clerk. Among the most prestigious awards conferred by the Governor of North Carolina is the Order of the Longleaf Pine. It's awarded to persons for exemplary service to the state of North Carolina and their communities that is above and beyond the call of duty and which has made a significant impact and strengthened North Carolina. At this time, I'd like to recognize Mr. John Reese and his wife Janet. If they would both come forward, please. John has had a very distinguished career, as evidenced by a number of friends, colleagues, family that is here tonight to celebrate Governor Stein awarding this to Mr. Reese. And I just want to highlight a couple things on his service timeline, if you will. His professional service dates back to starting 1974 at the North Carolina Forest Service, where he served in the full-time capacity until 2009. And served as a county ranger for many, many years here in McDowell County, battling wildfires from Mill Creek to Dysersville and all points in between. Since 2009, Mr. Reese has been a part-time crew leader for the Forest Service and also filling in on numerous occasions when the county has been without a county ranger. He volunteered for the Marion Fire Department for 22 years. He has served 39 years on the City of Marion's Tree Committee. And in 2019, he joined our agency, McDowell County Emergency Services, as a member of our incident management team as the planning section chief, who is responsible for gathering all of the strategic, tactical plans, objectives from all the different sections between operations, planning, logistics, finance, public information, safety, compiling those on a daily basis, coming up with a strategic plan and presenting it for the next operational period. This is one of the folks who has worked quietly behind the scenes and has been a piece of the puzzle that has made us successful through the years. He served as our planning section chief during the COVID-19 pandemic, which was the longest activation in the county's history, writing hundreds of incident action plans, and was a key member during Hurricane Helene response and recovery. Mr. Reese has devoted his life to serving the people of North Carolina through forestry, fire protection, and emergency management. His career and volunteer service reflects over 50 years of continuous dedication to safeguarding the environment, supporting public safety, and strengthening his community. His selfless service and steadfast character embody the highest ideals of citizenship and public service in this community. And it's an honor and privilege to present him the official award. State of North Carolina, State of North Carolina Governor, posing special confidence in the integrity, learning, and zeal of John F. Reese, I do by these confer the Order of the Longleaf Pine, with the rank of Ambassador Extraordinaire, privileged to enjoy fully all rights granted to members of this exalted order, among which is the special privilege to propose the following North Carolina toast and select company anywhere in the free world. Here's to the land of the longleaf pine, the summer land where the sun don't shine, where the wheat grows strong and the strong grow great. Here's to, down home, the old North State. Congratulations, sir. We appreciate you.
of you know I don't need a microphone. I do want to take a moment and say, first and foremost, God be the glory. And it's always number one, and I don't want to ever forget that. But coming a close second will have to be my wife. So supportive. Man, she still doesn't get used to me being gone all the time. But she is very supportive. I would have to say that I couldn't do this without her support. And I want to thank William Kehler for allowing me to come along for the ride. Man, it is a great ride. I'm loving what I'm doing. I think it's an honor and a privilege to serve the people of McDowell County. And I look forward to helping you some more however I can. I'm not going to be on top of a mountain. I'll probably be in a truck on the side of the road. But thank you so much. I appreciate it.
John, I'd like to say personally that I've known you since back, I guess, in the 70s when we started Crooked Creek Fire Department, just shortly after that. And so, and I remember the big fire we had out there, I guess, in the early 80s. But you have always been an inspiration to me, and I appreciate all you've done for this community and for our county.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your service.
Thank you. Let her go.
One more.
One more.
One more.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Wes.
Okay, moving along now to item C, we have the Helene recovery updates, and we have Miss Adrienne Jones here with us tonight to give us the update on that. The floor is yours, Miss Adrienne.
Do I need to wait for the screen to pop up or?
There we go.
Perfect. All right. Well, good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Don't worry, I can talk loud. I was just telling Miss Reese I used to get in trouble for talking too loud in school, so I can talk over. Honored to be here tonight to give you an update on Hurricane Helene and the recovery efforts that are ongoing. Since we last spoke with you guys last month, our operation priorities remain the same. We're continuing to focus on debris management, private roads and bridges, and our housing with our BOAD group, as well as hazard mitigation, and we'll get into that. So since the beginning of recovery efforts, we've collected nearly 1.5 million cubic yards of debris that's been removed from waterways, roadways, and private property under the PPDR program. The North Carolina SMART program came in after our original wave of waterway and private property debris removal to do basically a second wave of applications. And so you can see here those applications. We've got 77 private property debris removal apps, and we've got 149 different waterway points. These have all been submitted to FEMA for approval, and we're awaiting that approval and looking forward to work to begin on these projects to continue to get debris out of the county from the disaster. The private road and bridge program, so there's two arms of this program. One is those bridges that are going to be fully repaired, and the cost of that's covered by this program. And then there's also an arm that is a partial reimbursement for repairs. So of that private road and bridge replacement project, you can see there's 304 projects that are identified in the county. 11 projects have been completed, 2 are construction in progress, and then 3 are showing design complete. So we hope to see those move to construction soon. You might look at that and see that it doesn't feel like a whole lot of progress, but I'll tell you that of all the programs we're dealing with, this one does continue to be very receptive. We've had a lot of great communication with them, and we do continue to see progress being made. The deadline for the partial reimbursement program to apply was February 28th, and folks that have applied for this program will now have a 6-month period to get in all their documents and receipts related to cost. Those will be reviewed, and they'll get up to 50% reimbursed for anything on private roads, bridges, and culverts. For emergency housing and repairs, we continue to work with our VOAD group, that's Volunteer Organizations Assisting in Disasters. I think you guys know we continue to echo their praises. That meeting happens every month, led by Jerry Lewis, Pastor Jerry Lewis and Victoria Garrick. They have done phenomenal work. We wouldn't be near where we are with progress and recovery if it weren't for our volunteer organizations. Every time I go in that room, I'm humbled to see all the work and coordination that happens every day, really, but especially every month when we're in there. They've completed 536 projects. They've got 29 pending cases and then 19 full rebuilds. 9 of those are in progress, and then we hope to continue to see additional rebuilds come online. It's my understanding that 2 of those 9 that are in progress are about to get their certificate of occupancy, so we'll be able to hand over keys to 2 more homeowners and see them fully made whole. The hazard mitigation program continues to be kind of slow and strenuous. It's our long-standing process here that really it's taken us some time, and we know that historically hazard mitigation is not a fast program, but I think certainly we've seen some barriers, one being the volume of applications coming in. This is a state-centric program, and we're grateful for that. And what that means is they take all of these applications and then they build them into projects. So you see here acquisition, and that's those buyout applications. 33 of those made it into batch 1. Batch 1 is with FEMA, and that's been there since November of last year. And once it hits FEMA, the average timeline is 12 to 18 months for their review until funds are obligated and we get the approval or denial. So you can see we still have additional properties in acquisition that still need to make it to FEMA, as well as elevation projects. Elevation projects are those folks who have damage that want to have their home elevated above the floodplain. Those feasibility studies are ongoing. We've been working with homeowners and engineers. So the state has procured engineering firms that have come out, and what they're doing is basically saying, yes, this can be elevated, or no, it's not feasible, and then we'll go from there. So they're still doing that work. We don't have any answers yet on the elevation projects. Generator projects, we've applied for 17 of those across the county to make us more resilient and ready to respond in future disasters. And then our landslide mitigation, again, those folks who had massive landslides on their property that are in danger in their home, we're still, again, waiting on answers for those. So this program, again, long and drawn out, but we continue to work with folks. All of the applicants, we're staying in contact regularly. They've got my personal cell phone number. They can email me, call me. And maybe I don't have any new news, but I'm always happy to answer any questions they have. So that's kind of our role at the local level at this point. The deadline has passed on this program, so you can't apply if you didn't prior to October of last year, but we'll continue to work with these folks for years to come. FEMA reimbursement update. This is on the public assistance. We've got 16 applications on behalf of the county government. 9 of those have been obligated, totaling right over $2.1 million. And that was 2 additional projects, I believe, since our last update. Our priorities for the next 30 days continue to be debris operations. We'll continue, we coordinate weekly with the NC SMART program on the waterway and private property debris removal status and where we're at with that. VOAD coordination, again, we continue that daily with Victoria and all of those groups that are supporting rebuild and recovery in the county. Hazard mitigation, we'll continue to keep pushing where we can to see progress happening. Batch 2 is in draft, and I do anticipate getting that very soon, where we'll be able to have additional properties moved to FEMA for review. And so we'll continue to advocate for that and provide the state with anything they're needing. And FEMA reimbursement, Desiree's done a phenomenal job with recovery and keeping up with all of that. And then we'll continue to implement our long-term recovery strategies. And then we will have our annual hurricane and flash flood exercise on May 13th as part of our LEPC meeting. So of course, any of you all are welcome to attend. There'll be information coming about that in the coming weeks, and we'll get that out. And with that, I'll take any questions or comments regarding recovery efforts.
Adrienne, VOAD does a tremendous job. So my question, I guess that's a standing committee now, correct?
It is,
Good.
correct. They continue to meet. They coordinate behind the scenes, but every month they're at our building where we can all coordinate and get in the same room. And it's really remarkable to see the work they're doing in there. And really the coordination of just making things happen where that can't always or doesn't always happen at the different levels of government. They're able to cut through the red tape and just make things happen. They're doing great.
Good report.
All right, thank you,
Anyone
sir.
have anything?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving along to item D, which is the 2027 property reappraisal update. And Mr. Wooten, I'll let you lead us off on this.
Sure. Just a quick update before Mr. Pearson comes forward to give some updates about their work. This is, I think, the third or fourth time we've had a representative from the company here since they were contracted to talk about their work. And the company's been really good to meet with us on a staff level pretty much every month to just keep appraised of everything that's going on and apprised with their work. And I'll leave a lot of what Mr. Pearson is doing and his team for him to update. But there are a lot of folks out working on this process, and so people may wonder, what's going on in process and have questions about that. So just again, real quick, we've talked about this, I think, every time we've had these updates, but just people might be catching these for the first time, or it's been a while. You started off a process with staff back in 2024 for the selection of a firm for the 2027 reappraisal. And the charge at that time is that you wanted a really good quality effort done. You wanted to make sure that, because I think questions that were raised out of the 23 reappraisal from some taxpayers was, I don't know that this is right, what you sent me. And so to leave anything where there's no doubt, you wanted to make sure that had a good quality firm come out and look at every property and be very certain about it. And that process is called a full measure and list. That's when a firm or agency will come out and send staff, and their intention is to go to every parcel that we have taxable, which is over 32,000, a little bit more actually. And if it's just trees, there's not a lot to do, but if there's improvements on the land, so a home or a mobile home or a farm structure, et cetera, if allowed on the property, the contractors will come out and they have a tablet and they're looking to see what we have on record is what's being assessed currently. And so this can be a very complicated process and time consuming, definitely, with that many parcels. I think about 18,000 of those roughly are improved where there's something on them. So again, folks are going out and they're checking those maybe as we speak right now. This follows a little bit more history. I talk about that process started really in earnest in 25 last year, but you had a selection evaluation back in 24, and before that, we had wrapped up 23, and then before that was 2019. So since 2019, we've been on a 4-year cycle, and that's more of a trend for counties than it ever was. There's, I think, 51 that are on a 4-year cycle now. There's some oddballs, maybe 5 or so years, but the vast majority are doing 4 right now. There are some doing 6, but the maximum is 8, which is what this county was on up until the prior board voted in 2019 to go to a 4-year cycle. And so that's what's communicated to the Department of Revenue by resolution. And then after 23, you committed to keep on the 4-year cycle at that time. So, and that effort at that time kicked off our selection process with this company, and they have been working ever since.
Mr. Wooten, how long has it been since every parcel in the county was looked at?
So every parcel, we are unaware of any efforts where there's been a very thorough full measure. There's been some spot checks over time from different firms we've utilized, but we're not able to find any record going back at least the 80s, if not before, where there's been every parcel visited like this company's doing. The board have any other questions or for Mr. Pearson is recognized?
No, we'll let Mr. Pearson go ahead and do his presentation, and then, of course, I want to remind everyone that might have questions here tonight to please sign up back there, and we will try to address these at the end of under citizen comments.
Yeah, my name is Fred Pearson. Very pleased to have an opportunity to work with McDowell County reevaluation. You have about 33,000 parcels. We've already been to approximately 20,000 parcels. We have 4 people working out in the field. Jeff's the project manager, 5. Tammy has got us access to Bitech, which is your appraisal software. We have 2 ladies ready to start with data entry there. We're moving more into the valuation side of it now. I've already pulled all the 2025 and January and February of 2026 sales. It's about 760 of those. We're going to be doing that and reviewing sales, and we can probably start talking about letting you know what kind of increases you're looking at based on 2025 and 2026 sales. That's pretty much where we are. We also own commercial and industrial properties, and these are larger commercial and industrial properties. We will be sending out income and expense letters to people, and if they would like for us to consider the income approach on their property, we'll be happy to. On gated industrial properties, we'll also be sending site visits letters to them to get an opportunity to do an on-site inspection of their property. But that's where we are. Be glad to answer any questions for you.
I have none at this time.
Does anyone have any at this time?
No, not at this time.
Okay, sir, we don't have any right now, but we probably will later on in the meeting tonight.
I'll be available. As we get closer to the end, we can give you more information.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you, and have a nice evening.
You too. All right, moving into old business tonight. Item A under old business would be the water system project update. Mr. Wood.
Yes, sir. Won't dwell so much on the updates. You've had the memo, and you can see the work we're doing. Just hit them really quick. Our East End project is in process. We have had one section of that project certified, and people are starting to be connected. The Nebo Phase 2 is wrapping up. We're putting a master meter within days in front of the attic, and so that will allow for water flow on Memorial Park Road for our customers on the north side of our system. Talk about the Exit 90 project still in environmental review. Phase 3, which is primarily Randolph Road. We're going to have a kickoff meeting for that, I believe, the end of this week. So that's a really long project and good to have happen. I've talked about before the master meter on US 70 that has been moved westward, immediately west of Beeman Road. So we're working with the city of Marion on that transfer, and so I'll report back on that, I think, next month with some more information. Then the last item on the Nebo system, I did let you know, but again, a little more formally, we'd received notification that we had received a grant, a little over $7 million. It does have a small loan component that will extend from the end of Randolph, a little bit on Tony Road, and then on Fairview Road, connecting back to the City of Marion system. And a vital part of that project is the construction of a water storage tank, which our Nevo system does not have. So that will help, and this is part of Helene-related money. And so if we ever have a situation where the city is running a little bit low on water supply, we should have an adequate backup if necessary. So that was a really good effort to get that one. Really quick on the Providence area, West Marion Elementary area, met with the engineers this past week, reviewing the booster station design that will be placed by Pilot. Talked last month about a state historic preservation review of the corridor. They're going to start that work. I have a map and can share with you. They're going to be mostly along the right-of-way, doing some shovel-type evaluation. But we'll have, excuse me, share that information with 911 Center in case people say there's people out digging in the ditch. I don't know why. And also on this project, we did receive a little over $3.5 million. Again, mostly grant or forgivable loan and a small loan component that will extend a line on Marlow Road and Zion Hill Road. So the timing of this, we're still, as I talked before, we're trying to line up the original funding we had from ARC, the school system, and General Assembly with this funding so we can bid it all at once and have really good bids. Our AIA project is in process. I've talked about our mapping opportunity there. We have a grant we're working with the town and the city on partnership possibilities, and so that process is continuing. And then the last item, talked a lot about Helene and a little bit more in a minute. The North Carolina Community Foundation had a grant program announced several months ago for impacted communities. And a little bit of a lark, we did put an application for the point of helping, it had to help people that were impacted by Helene. So we put together a grant that would connect people to our water system that are lower income. Typically that would be inclusive of senior citizens, of course, is kind of the target market. And so this grant is $100,000. We hope to connect as many people out of that as possible, knowing that while we have generally affordable water rates, that connection costs with a plumber can be kind of expensive depending on where these folks might be. So you do have an assistance program as described in your packet, and we'd ask that you approve the receipt of the grant and approval of the program so we can get that advertised and out the door.
Chairman, make a motion to approve the receipt of the grant and the parameters for the potential customers as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wood.
Mr. Chairman, we got one other item too while we're in water. So with the extension of the new water line to the school and out to the Zion Hill area and looping back, there's, I think would behoove the board to check and see what the need is out off Apache and Arrowhead for future water expansion. And I think that we need to see if there's need in that area. It's a densely populated area, and so I don't know as far as wells or what the situation is, but I think it'd be beneficial to look at it and have staff bring back information at a later date.
Is that a motion?
I'll make that form of motion, yes, sir.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
We'll do that, yes, sir.
thank you, Mr. Wooden. Next on the agenda will be item B, which is the asset management updates, and Mr. Wooden, you have the floor.
Thank you. Just to touch base with you on some projects for some of our existing buildings that we're working on. I've talked about here and there with most of these with you. Just wanted to make sure some of these had updates for you. Services building, as many people might remember, opened in 1976, roughly. And people may or may not be surprised, especially if you're in there, you wouldn't be surprised that it has the original heating and cooling system from that date. It has worked relatively well, but we have been working for several years to have a replacement designed and eventually implemented. And so we have previously selected a mechanical engineer. They are working on a phased plan that would essentially replace the main elements behind the heating and cooling system. In this instance, perhaps a chiller, and a future instance would be a boiler in the upstairs. New mechanical room that was built, the courthouse expansion. And so don't have the plans yet. It's not ready to go to bid yet, but I just want to let you know that that is getting to the close of design, and then we're ready to go to bid. I'll be in touch with you on that. This is something that we were the beneficiary of several years ago with some state funding that we received, and so we're using that to its maximum. Hopefully it'll pay for the entire cost. At the DSS building, I've talked about several months ago, there's a retaining wall in the rear parking lot that has a lean to it that has probably been leaning. I don't think Ms. Brewer is here, but she and I had a conversation about it. That wall has probably been leaning for a long time. I'm not a gambling person when it comes to life safety. It could last another 100 years or it could fall tomorrow. But we had, we noticed, meaning Mr. Riddle and I noticed the lean, we did move cars away from it.
How tall is that wall actually, probably?
Probably
30?
18 to 20 feet. It's pretty high. And so we've kept cars away from it while we brought in engineers to evaluate options. We've talked about before in here trying to keep the existing wall and anchoring into the neighboring soil. So we looked at that, and as opposed to replacing the wall in its entirety, and actually the cost estimate from the engineer was it would be about the same. And if their recommendation is and would be, if you're going to have to spend the money to just do a new wall and make sure you're doing the drainage, weep holes and everything else properly this time, since they've probably been filled in. And so we have a design. We're trying to get it a little bit closer to bidding option. For this project, it's important to find money to pay for things. And so we do have some money that was part of the American Rescue Plan Act. It was part of a separate program. I won't get into all the details and acronyms, but its original source is federal money. And so we would recommend using that. And based on some estimates from Mr. Riddle, again, not the engineer, we're hopeful that funding we still have would pay for that replacement.
What was Mr. Riddle's estimate?
It was a little over $200,000. So it's a massive project, but hopefully lower. Based on some recent work elsewhere in the community. Elsewhere, the transfer station, probably a lot of folks in this room have lots of stories to tell at transfer station, but the main floor that we talked about was the facility that was open in, I think, 94 or 5 with the roof. That was closed for about 3 months around Thanksgiving and Christmas, which is about the hardest time you could take to close it. That was not done by choice. That was based on contractor availability, engineering availability, and other schedules outside of our control. But that work was completed in January. It is better, it's nicer, it's more importantly not disintegrating like it was. It's better on our machines because it was very rough on our machines before. And there was also issues with leachate going into the ground underneath the floor. So that's been addressed. One other issue that has been addressed there, because there was, not originally, but recently there was a gap between the floor and the loading trailers. when they would push the waste, it would end up in the gap between the wall and the trailer. And so they would have to clean that waste out. They would try to not do that, and they would cause damage to the trailers. And so with this work, that issue has been eliminated. So now that that's done, we're looking at other areas to improve. If people have gone up there, they have noticed a second set of scales that are not available for usage yet. So we had too much going on to get those online. So now we're shifting to get the second set of scales online. So we're working to get that cabling done for the data, working with Mr. Davis and IT on that. Eventually might do a new scale house actually in between the scales, but that's a future phase. So hopefully in the summer we can have that open to the public, because that'll help on the traffic flow, because one on the right side will be in and the existing set will be the way out. So that should help a lot for people coming and going. And I know the road needs to be improved. There's a lot on the list, but we're trying to move incrementally as we're able to secure funds for these projects, you know, in competition for other things. And then lastly, some security upgrades we've been working on with a couple of our offices, mostly security glass, so it's things I can talk about out loud. In both the deeds office and the elections office, just adding essentially like storefront windows at a higher level, more so like you would see at the tax collection office, but more so glass that's treated and special, to provide them a little bit more security, since especially next door is right on the downtown street. The vendor, there's purchase orders submitted, they're delayed. Getting the aluminum for the actual framing, but it is in order, and we'll keep pushing that as we can.
Who is the vendor on that?
It's a company out of Asheville. We did speak with a local company, and they told us they were very behind, and so it would, like we obviously like to go local when we can, but they just couldn't get to it anytime soon.
That brings up a question, Mr. Wooten. So local small businesses.
Sure.
Mr. Ring brought it up. How do they, is there a database or an email system, or how can the small business here in McDowell County bid on projects? How are they made aware of projects?
We went over this several years ago, David, and they do make them aware, unless they change the policy on that.
So right now there is strong encouragement to our different departments. So Mr. Kehler's department, they will make purchases, pick on him since he's sitting right there. Mr. Brinkley is here, and others, when they need to buy supplies for their operations, they need to make, you know, conscientious decisions on what's best for different things. And so, you know, sometimes it might be the best value for the taxpayer, but the encouragement is, if it's close, which is a subjective term, and especially if you could get it faster and quicker, it's better to get it local instead of going to, you know, an Amazon or something. There's not a strict policy to that. That's for y'all to decide. But the encouragement is definitely there, preferably to, no offense to larger corporate owners, but to focus on, you know, locally owned businesses first, and then, you know, larger firms, and then online if necessary.
I thought we posted these jobs as they come up, the construction type.
We do post jobs that are under a formal bid limit, which can be higher. But when it comes to procurement for services,
like T-shirts for Little League or
yeah.
Right.
I'm not familiar
Some
with that.
things aren't posted like that. Larger jobs are, but we do require typically that there be 3 quotes for something that's in the informal limit for either construction or services. And so again, the encouragement is to look here and not somewhere out of town or online if at all possible.
I will give you an example. We have a local contractor that's building the new restrooms at Maple Leaf. talk with them today.
Good. And that's fantastic, because you know, we're local, and you would love to see the money stay local. And so you just keep encouraging local.
There are times, and I have seen this, and all of us have, where, you know, local builders couldn't compete with some of the, you know, the prices from the outside, the quotes from the outside. And then sometimes our local people are so busy they don't have time to even do it.
Vehicles are brought up sometimes
Yeah.
of why do we purchase vehicles from Winston-Salem or somewhere? Well, we're able, like any other government entity in the state, to get vehicles off. It's actually the Sheriff's Procurement Program, Sheriff's Association Procurement Program. Typically, those vehicles are $10,000 to $15,000 cheaper than what's on the lot locally. There have been times where we've called local dealers, especially after COVID, and got a reasonable deal based on availability. But again, there's a balance, because you know, I preach all the time. I think I did it Wednesday in a department head discussion about budget. When you're making these decisions, whether it's at home or more importantly here in the context, you're looking at the local business first. Like I said, locally owned. If they don't have it, look, you know, broader, and then buy it online as opposed to go up the mountain, because at least at that point we get the sales tax revenue, which is important, and it offsets other things. But so I guess it's preached a lot, but you know, we can continue to further look at. Some places do have more of a capacity to post opportunities than we currently do for, you know, T-shirts and different things, but that's always something we want to try to do better.
But Mr. Chairman, I do want to say real quick that I appreciate the board is always looking at grant funding first, because out of the 4 different projects that Mr. Wooten brought to our attention, 2 were paid for out of state appropriation, 1 federal appropriation, and 1 local funding. So we appreciate the fact that you're trying to exhaust everybody else's money before you do ours. Their money, not ours, theirs.
If the work has to happen, you know, it's some taxpayers' money at some level. And we've had this discussion before, unless it's a private foundation, but which if that comes around, it comes around. But I would rather a taxpayer out of California, if we're all paying federal taxes, help pay for something here as opposed to a state taxpayer or especially a local taxpayer. But good point.
I would rather see a sales tax pay for everything. Okay, let's move along then to new business. Item A under new business will be the Helene recovery grant process update. Mr. Wooten.
Yes, sir. Very quick. I will probably talk about this more maybe next month or the month after under some Helene recovery items, complementing Ms. Jones mentioned earlier. We will see before you very soon, again, it might be 3 months or so, talking about bids, the USDA Emergency Watershed Protection Program. We have not participated really in EWP to any significant level since after the 2004 hurricanes. This will be like something we've not seen in a generation. EWP is designed to help properties that are adjacent to waterways where there is typically an imminent threat to life or property. And so that can mean like a DOT bridge, it can mean someone's house, a farm structure, et cetera. But if it's just, you know, a jammed up area that's not affecting those things, it's not usually eligible. But I don't have the list right in front of me tonight, but there's quite a long list that our soil and water staff have been working on to put together with USDA. So the next step will be selecting or seeking an engineer, and then I'll bring that to you for endorsement. The funding will be a combination of federal and state on that recovery. We did apply for a program called STRAP. It's a stream restoration program. Last week, we are seeking a maximum grant of over $1.5 million, and the designated area is Mill Creek. Essentially from around Commerce Street to the school, and the STRAP program was identified and the purpose of removing any remaining debris, which there shouldn't be too much after Army Corps went through, but then focusing on a restoration. So that was identified as a high impact area, helping out the town with a lot of the efforts of beautification and improvement that we're working on. Really quick on facilities, I've talked about before the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Program. Mr. Walker talked about, again, we're taking advantage of taxpayer money here, again, on the federal level. That's been made available by Congress and passed through to the state. We have talked before about a couple of projects, and we're talking to grant writers about it now. The 911 center need that we have, Mr. Kehler could take you on a tour. I think most of you have been in the existing center. It's very small. It's time for a larger facility. You did receive $1.5 million from Congress, congressionally directed spending several months ago, thanks to Congressman Edwards' efforts. But that's not enough for the facility needs, so we're looking at other sources. Talked about expansion of Old Fort Senior Center. There's a classroom we've talked to Mr. Prabor about 1,000 square feet. That would help with sheltering in the future for any need there. We do have a generator in the pipeline there as well. And one other item, it might be a long shot, but we had a lot of this need during and after Helene is with domestic animals. And so I have asked, I'll try anything when it comes to grants for assistance with animal shelter. Again, might be more of a long shot under this program, but we're going to try. We have had some funds donated for that in the past, and so again, we're going to try to seek all avenues for that. So hopefully by the next month, I'll have some more up or down on these, if they're going to be viable or not. There's a pre-screening process that we're working on right now, and we should know, again, by the April meeting if any of these are going to fly. And then lastly, there is an action item related to that under CDBG-DR. Foothills Regional Commission is working with us on the application preparation, where they will do all the work. Like Mr. Hampton was talking about earlier, they will only get paid for the work and their third-party contractor if the funding is awarded. If it's not awarded for a project, they're not paid anything. So it's a good deal for the county. It allows us to keep a handle on the effort and direct it, but not have to pay for the application preparation.
And I would like to reiterate that none of these grants require a match from the county. A lot of times, grants that we get require us to provide some matching funds, but none of these require us to match anything.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with Foothills Regional Commission for the CDBG-DR work.
Second.
We have any discussion? With the motion second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Mr. Wood. Next will be item B, the budget update and approvals. Mr. Wood.
You have your budget update for the current fiscal year, and you have amendments GF 34 through 40, and the 911 fund as well.
Move that we approve the budget items.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Next is item C, the administrative items for review and approval. Mr. Wooten.
Yes, sir. I'll list out each one, and please pick out any one you would like to have discussion about. I'll just summarize them each. So you have EMS write-offs. These are for EMS transports, again, that were uncollectible after many years of effort.
How many years do they try to collect that, Ashley?
Typically 10 years.
10 years.
You have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 leak waivers for the Neva water system. The next item on inspection fee waiver, we had someone out in our inspections office, I think it was maybe last spring actually, and someone was filling in and essentially misquoted the cost of a permit. And so the permit at a lower cost was paid, and then when the error was discovered, when the person came back in to reinitiate the work, I guess, or move to the next steps, they were told they were given the wrong information. And so I can't make that go away, even though the staff, communicated an error.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion on this one separate. This was a error on our part, which should not, in my opinion, be passed on to the citizen. So I move that we grant that waiver.
Second.
Discussion on that? All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you. Back on our list here, the Baldwin Avenue building lease. It's hard to put in one little paragraph and 2 or 3 sentences about this, but you've spoken with Dr. Kelly and myself about McDowell Tech has maybe more of a longer term need than or desire to consolidate their staff onto campus. And again, with that knowledge, some conversations were held about the availability of the Baldwin Avenue building, also known as the Ford Miller Training Center, and for folks also, it was the old Marion Manufacturing Credit Union building, the old office building. This was owned by the county for over 15 years. It was renovated by the county before it was occupied by the college and the state, and then when it was in good hands in Tennessee by the college, and was deeded back to them about 2 years ago. The idea would be that the county would lease the building at no cost or $1 a year, but the maintenance would be the county's responsibility as it is now, but more directly. Right now, you give funding to the college to spend on the maintenance. It would be treated as a county-owned building essentially. And this is also kind of part of a bigger picture, although it's not referenced here, on discussions that you've heard about recently about establishing and developing the public safety training complex in partnership with the community college, our law enforcement partners like the sheriff and our fire commission. And so there's more work to do on that. And so this is essentially part of like a package deal essentially, that we're working on this process and that more in the background as of right now. And then the last item, Mr. Kehler is here if you had questions more specifically to it. We have an older generator that is surplus, and it's essentially, I hate to say it's taking up space, but it would be better used by someone else. And so Grace Baptist Church on Shady Lane is aware of the generator. They can make use of it. We are allowed to donate property to nonprofits if they use it for a public purpose, like using it for an emergency shelter. And so we would recommend that. And I did talk to Mr. Kehler. Had anyone else in the community raise their hand, we want to be a shelter, we'd like a generator too. That discussion hasn't happened, and Grace has stepped forward and said they would be glad to do that. And it
Make a motion to approve that generator to them.
Second.
Do we have a written agreement with them about they will operate a shelter?
We will draft one if you, that would be part of the
Pending the
understanding.
written agreement to operate a shelter.
Absolutely. And we would want to put in there essentially, while it's still functional, a reverter that if they would come back to us.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second on that.
Does your motion include the other items, like the water leaks and EMS?
I'll add those right now. It does.
Okay. So the second.
She did.
Okay. All right, any other discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wooten. Move on now to item D, which is the property tax releases, refunds, and discoveries. Mr. Wooten.
Yes, sir. You have a memo there about the releases over 100, under 100, any taxpayer refunds for real or personal property as well as motor vehicles. There are no discoveries this month.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion we approve the releases as presented.
Second.
We have a motion, second. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. That takes care of that. We're going to move along now to citizen comments. We have, Mr. Coates, how many do we have signed up?
Three signed up.
Motion to adjourn?
All right. Got a motion to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.